The moment my sister found out I had $12 million, the entire Thanksgiving table turned on me like a pack of starving wolves. No! My mother snapped, her voice shaking with rage. That money belongs to Rachel. She deserves it more than you ever will. And just like that, my family demanded I hand over everything I had built, everything they never cared about, because their golden child decided my success should belong to her. Hello, everyone. Before we get into the story, the channel needs your support. Subscribing is free, quick, and helps us continue bringing you stories like this. Thank you. It means everything now. Let's begin. I'm posting from a throwaway for obvious reasons. My name is Sarah, 38, female, and I need to get this off my chest. Do you know those families where one child can do no wrong while the other may as well not exist? That was my life. Everything was relatively normal until I turned 8. I was an only child then. My parents weren't warm, but they were present. My mom helped with homework. My dad took me fishing at Lake St. Clair. We were fine. Not loving, but fine. And then one night at 2 a.m., Aunt Kelly burst into my room telling me to pack a bag. Mom was in the hospital. My sister Rachel was being born 8 weeks early. Something was wrong. That was the night my childhood ended. For weeks, the adults whispered in urgent tones while tiny Rachel lay wrapped in tubes. She looked like a baby doll hooked to machines. I wasn't allowed near her, and that's when I first felt it, that invisible wall building between me and the rest of my family. When Rachel finally came home, the house transformed into a sterile laboratory. Mom obsessively sanitized every surface, industrial disinfectants, hand sanitizer stations everywhere. The bleach smell still triggers me, but the worst part, if I sneezed, just sneezed, I was sent away. A mild cough, bag packed. Off to grandma's. They didn't want me near Rachel. I was a threat, an infection waiting to ruin their miracle child. At first, being sent to Grandma Marie or Aunt Kelly felt like fun. Cookies, Nancy Drew books, stories, but children notice things. Eventually, I understood the truth. I wasn't being cared for. I was being quarantined, exiled. My existence was deemed dangerous. I tried everything for attention. Straight A's? Mom barely glanced up from Rachel's medical calendar. Won first place in the science fair? Dad asked me to store the cardboard board in the garage. Apparently Rachel was allergic to cardboard dust. Is that even a thing? When I was 12, I practiced for months to play Bridge Over Troubled Water at the school talent show. On the night of the performance, Rachel had a low-grade fever, and no one came to watch me, not even one person. Yet 2 weeks later, the entire family filled the auditorium for Rachel's 15-minute flute recital where she butchered hot cross buns. By 7, Rachel already understood the system. A headache meant staying home. Tired? Someone else, usually me, had to do her chores. Nervous about a test? Mom called the school to extend deadlines. Meanwhile, I learned to disappear into my room, bury myself in books, and remind myself that becoming invisible wasn't my fault. It was their choice. Eventually, I realized something twisted. Whenever Rachel pretended to be sick, I got sent to Grandma's. And I liked it. Grandma Marie was the first person who cared about my day. She taught me about vintage jewelry, letting me catalog her collection. Looking back, that moment was prophetic, but their damage wasn't the favoritism. It was the way they rewrote history to excuse it. Rachel needs more attention. Sarah doesn't mind. Sarah understands. I didn't understand. I was a child trying to figure out why having a strong immune system made me less deserving of love. High school became my escape plan. If no one was going to help me, I'd help myself. I worked at Carson's Diner, joined every club, ran the debate team, became NHS president, edited the school newspaper. The debate team sharpened my mind. Breaking someone's argument calmly is a skill I didn't know would shape my future. Junior year, I scored a perfect 1,600 on the SAT. Less than 1% achieved that. I ran home shaking with excitement. Mom didn't even look up. "That's nice, honey. Keep it down. Rachel has a test tomorrow." Rachel smirked. "Some of us actually have to study, Miss Perfect." Her C+ got fridge space. My perfect score didn't. I applied to 15 colleges alone. I filed FAFSA alone. My guidance counselor helped more than my parents ever did. Acceptance letters arrived from Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Michigan, many with scholarships. I hid them in a locked box. If Rachel found out, she'd somehow spin it into being about her. When UMICH offered a full ride, it felt like a lifeline. At dinner, I announced I got in. Mom frowned. But that's so far. What if Rachel needs you? Rachel squealed. Can I have your room? Move-in day, my parents couldn't come. Rachel had cheer practice. Aunt Kelly drove me. She gave me an envelope with $500 saved from Grandma Marie's Social Security checks. I cried that night in my dorm. Not from sadness, from relief. I was finally free. College was beautiful chaos. Ramen nights, independence, all-nighters. I graduated summa cum laude. My parents didn't notice. They were helping Rachel transfer colleges again. My first job was entry level at a prestigious Detroit auction house. I documented estate items, dull work until I found an Art Deco brooch in the Kingston estate. Everyone labeled it costume jewelry, but I recognized the weight, clasp, craftsmanship. I spent my lunch breaks studying jewelry authentication, even paid for an online course. When I finally presented my findings, the brooch sold for $47,000. That discovery changed everything. Suddenly, I was trusted. More valuable pieces came my way. My commission checks grew. I fell in love with authentication, details, history, the detective work. Rachel mocked me, calling it my junk hobby, but I finally had something that belonged wholly to me. 2 years later, during the Rothschild collection cataloging, I identified a piece believed lost during World War II. It sold for $238,000. After that, my boss sat me down and told me bluntly, "You're wasting your talent here. Start your own company." With tiny savings, a loan, and a cheap office above a Chinese restaurant that always smelled like kung pao chicken, I opened my own authentication business. The first months were terrifying. Then I woke up sweating, calculating survival. My office had a card table and a curbside chair, but word spread, I was accurate, meticulous. 6 months later, I authenticated a Victorian collection and earned an $86,000 commission. From there, everything exploded. Private collectors, estate lawyers, even my old auction house sent work. I hired Jenny, now my head authenticator. In 5 years, we expanded across Detroit, Chicago, and New York. $1 million deals became normal, but I kept everything secret from my family. At Sunday dinners, I wore subtle designer clothes while Rachel bragged about her entry-level marketing job. Mom, Sarah works in some little antique shop. Meanwhile, I had just closed a 7-figure authentication that morning. I even wore real Harry Winston pieces to dinner just to see if anyone would notice. No one ever did. Eventually, my parents started struggling financially. Rachel's loans, medical bills, bad decisions. I began sending $5,000 monthly anonymously. They assumed it was from relatives. When they needed more, I increased it to $7,000, while they praised Rachel for bringing the family together. Then Rachel wanted her MBA at an expensive private university. My mother cried to me, begging for more monthly support. I was giving seminars at that same business school. The double life became insane. By day, multi-million-dollar CEO. On Sundays, the family disappointment in old jewelry. But I kept playing along until Thanksgiving. Mom had a herniated disc and couldn't cook for 20 people, so I hired the best catering firm in the city. They delivered restaurant-quality food, the kind my family assumed was store-bought. While everyone ate, I stepped away to monitor a Hong Kong auction for a client. I left my authentication software open. Rachel barged in to steal my phone charger, saw the screen, and smirked. "This will be fun," she said, and she carried my laptop to the dining room. She expected to humiliate me. Instead, she revealed account balance, $12.4 million, pending contract, $485,000, recent transaction, $1.2 million, quarterly profit, $4.2 million. The room froze. Mom laughed hysterically. "Sarah! Rich, don't be stupid. She works in an antique shop." It finally said it. No, Mom, I run one of the largest jewelry authentication companies in the country. 3 offices, international clients, millions in revenue. Chaos erupted. Mom screamed that I let them struggle. Dad yelled that I owed them everything, and that Rachel cried that I betrayed the family. It didn't matter what I'd built. They only cared that I didn't give it to them. I finally snapped. You ignored me my entire life. You missed every award, every achievement. You only saved for Rachel, and now you're mad that I survived without you? I grabbed my laptop, my Hermes bag, and walked out. Behind me, I heard them already arguing about how to spend my money. Within hours, they flooded me with hundreds of messages. You owe us. You must set up trust funds. Your sister needs $2 million. We should retire. We want a Florida beach house. They even showed up at my office. Security dragged them out. I cut off the monthly transfers, issued a legal harassment notice, changed my numbers, moved homes. It's been 6 months. My company is thriving. My mental health is healing. Rachel still posts about toxic, wealthy siblings, but nobody listens anymore. And me, for the first time in my life, I am free. Grandma Marie is coming next month to help me catalog a new collection. She's proud of me. She always was. Oh, and Rachel, if you're reading this, that Cartier bracelet in your latest Instagram post, it's fake. Just saying. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It helps the channel grow and brings more shocking real-life stories your way.